Now at 5, a water rescue after an SUV goes into Shoal Creek.
The nation's highest court takes on religious freedom. I'm Skylar Henry at the Supreme Court, where a school prayer case could sway the conservative majority to expand protections for believers.
Plus, the story of a mom getting a second chance at life with a new heart.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Firefighters rescue a man from a submerged SUV in Shoal Creek. This is KOAM News at 5. The Highway Patrol says the driver was going north on Gateway Drive in Newton County this morning when his SUV left the road and traveled down the bank and into the water under the bridge. An investigator says the driver had fallen asleep at the wheel. The Reddings Mill Water Rescue Team managed to get him to shore without injuries. The Reddings Mill Fire Department and Metro Towing later managed to get that SUV out of the water. An Independence Community College associate professor is charged with rape. Lawrence Markowitz is an associate professor of instrumental music at ICC. Authorities today officially charged him with 1 count each of rape, attempted rape, aggravated sexual battery, and furnishing alcohol to a minor. Markowitz's attorney says he's been placed on paid administrative leave from ICC. A special prosecutor has been hired for this case. Checking in with Doug Hetty for a first look at the weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a pretty nice Monday for us today. Temperatures pretty good, but it is going to be chilly for us tonight. We do have frost advisories in effect mainly along north of Interstate 44 as our temperatures will drop back into the mid-30s once again tonight. Hopefully our last one. But this is very typical into this time of the year. We always get frost deep into April. Mostly clear skies, just a few mid and upper level clouds which have been rotating through. But besides that, we look pretty good behind this storm system that rolled through over the weekend. Temperatures are sitting mainly into the low to mid 60s, but of course we're going to drop back as we go through the evening hours. We have this kind of light northerly wind at about 5 to 15. We'll drop back through the 50s, 40s, mid 30s for us tonight. Of course, we'll look at the rest of the week here in just a bit.
See you then. The Joplin School District is revamping its summer school curriculum. Students will have the opportunity for more personalized learning of their choosing, and 2 hours of each school day will feature more hands-on learning. The goal is to have students more engaged and attentive during the school day.
The biggest thing is the hands-on camp time. Because we're devoting 2 hours every day to it, and the excitement that we've seen from teachers and from students, the attendance is going to be higher. We're going to have I think the overall atmosphere is going to be, it's going to be more fun this year.
Sign-ups for the summer program is up 400 students from a year ago. We're going to have more on the program tonight at 6. A former Washington State high school football coach drew the line on school prayer right at 50 yards. The U.S. Supreme Court heard his case today, weighing whether his First Amendment rights were violated when the public school district told him he couldn't pray with students midfield after games. Skylar Henry reports from the Supreme Court.
Lawyers for a former high school football assistant coach and the public school district that once employed him scrimmaged at the Supreme Court Monday, passing the justices a key case on religious liberties.
This doesn't seem like a new problem. It just seems like a line-drawing problem.
For ex-coach Joe Kennedy, that was the 50-yard line on Bremerton High School's football field, where he prayed after games. Some students eventually joined in, and the school district asked Kennedy to stop. They offered him an option to do it privately, but Kennedy declined and ultimately sued.
That's where the big rub was. They're telling me where I can actually practice my faith, and everybody should be able to practice their faith.
The school district here did just the right thing to respect and protect the rights of the kids and their parents. That should be the bottom line for the court.
The case is before a now conservative majority, which has been moving to expand religious protections. Some of the justices pressed the attorneys on the issue of coercion.
What our cases have long cared about in thinking about these questions, which is coercion on students and having students feel that they have to join religious activities that they do not wish to join.
This was an, huddle up team, which is a common coach phrase. That wasn't this, right?
No, but does the coach have to say that for the students to miss that?
Kennedy expressed confidence in the case's outcome.
I'm very optimistic about everything.
A decision is expected before the court's summer recess. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Kennedy continued to pray on the field and was placed on paid leave. The school says after his contract expired, he didn't reapply to coach the following year. He has since moved out of state. President Biden has announced his intention to nominate career diplomat Bridget Brink to be the U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. She currently serves as the U.S. ambassador to Slovakia. The official White House announcement came after U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin met for about 3 hours with President Volodymyr Zelensky and his staff in Kyiv. During the visit, the two leaders said the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv will reopen in the coming weeks. French President Emmanuel Macron won re-election last night over far right-wing opponent Marine Le Pen. The runoff was expected to be close, but voters handed Macron a substantial victory with 48% against Le Pen's 41%, 58% to 41%. Still, it's the closest the far right has come to taking the top seat in France. Up next, a transplant success story.
She's a mom, an engineer, and a professional racquetball player whose busy life came to a halt when her heart started failing. I'm Bradley Blackburn with how a heart transplant now has her back on the court.
Plus, the link between vitamin D and breast cancer. Those stories just ahead in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, people who choose to remain unvaccinated against COVID may pose a threat to others vaccinated around them. That's according to researchers in Canada who found COVID infection substantially increased when the groups mixed, even in cases where vaccination rates were high. Vitamin D could help reduce the risk of breast cancer among women of color. The study in the journal Cancer showed Hispanic women were 48% less likely to develop the condition if they had sufficient vitamin D levels, while African American women had an 11% lower rate. April is National Donate Life Month, reminding us of the enormous need for organ donation. Last year, more than 41,000 transplants were performed, giving new life to patients. And as Bradley Blackburn reports, that includes one remarkable woman who's now back in the game.
Jennifer Mayadas Daring is an electrical engineer, a wife, a mom, and a world-class professional racquetball player. She has always had the heart of a champion, but last year she learned she needed a new heart.
How could this happen to me? I felt I was playing the role in somebody else's story.
Outside, she looked healthy, but she felt something was wrong. Doctors diagnosed her with idiopathic dilated cardiomyopathy, a dangerously weak heart muscle.
A lot of her symptoms were hard to kind of tease out because she was otherwise in good shape. But, when I saw her, looked at her, examined her, I knew that things were not good.
The day they told me I needed a heart transplant was shocking. But at that point, it was about surviving.
Jennifer had a 3-week wait in the hospital, then in April 2021 received her new heart. Dr. Masashi Kai performed the 5-hour procedure at Westchester Medical Center in New York.
It's not just life-saving, also it can change the quality of life. Like Jennifer.
You couldn't wait to get back on the court.
No, I was chomping at the bit.
Just 3 months after surgery, she picked up her racket, and a year later, she's showing no mercy. She's beaten a rejection scare and a COVID-19 infection, and knows she has this second chance to play, to live because of a donor.
I wake up every day thinking about her family and who she was.
Back in the game with all her heart and soul. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Westchester County, New York.
Jennifer's mother died waiting for an organ transplant. More than 100,000 people are waiting for life-saving organ transplants. If you want to register to be a donor, go to registerme.org. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, a big development in Elon Musk's negotiations to buy Twitter.
Plus, it looks like a cold night for us tonight. We're going to look at that, plus the rest of the week coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be a pretty good Monday for us today. Better than what we saw, especially yesterday. It was chilly. We had the on and off showers. And then, of course, scattered thunderstorms Saturday evening into the overnight hours. Frosty for us tonight. I talked about this last week where I was a little worried about early this week, but we are going to get some patchy frost in here as we go through the overnight hours tonight. But most of the week, nice spring weather. We are going to get some storms in here later this week. Of course, you can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog, KOAMNewsNow.com. Great shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri, right on the west side of the town. Also, allergies. If you're an allergy sufferer, they have been up there the past few days. On a scale of 1 to 10, today's a 7, tomorrow's a 9. So it gets even a little bit worse as we go through the week. Temperatures right now near 60 on the Missouri side. As you travel farther south and west, temperatures a little bit warmer into the mid 60s, but a little breezy. We have these northerly winds coming out about 10 to 20. The winds will start to die down just a little bit for us later on tonight. 7th range line currently sitting at 62, north winds at 12, humidity is at 43%. Pressure is dropping. Temps will drop through the evening, through the 50s, 40s. Eventually, most of us mid to upper 30s for overnight lows, which is cold enough to get some patchy frost. So that's why we have a frost advisory. Areas along the north, mainly of Interstate 44, hopefully our last one. All right, just a few mid and upper level clouds rotating through. Besides that, we're pretty quiet. If we go out toward the west, you can't really see any big storm systems. We don't have any storm systems until you get out into the Pacific Northwest. So we're going to be pretty quiet as we go through the next few days. Then things will start to pick up for us later on in the work week. All right, I think pretty much clear skies, mid 30s. Tuesday looks great. Still have this northeasterly wind near 60 by noon. Most of us will go into the mid 60s by the time we head into the afternoon. 59 by noon, high 66, northerly winds light at about 5 to 10. Tomorrow night, we drop back, not as cold, down into lower 40s, but look at our winds. They switch out of the south for Wednesday, so this helps us warm up even more. We go into the 70s for highs. So Wednesday night into Thursday morning, we are going to get a batch of showers and thunderstorms, at least to our north, that will start to, or at least try to affect us. Non-severe scattered showers and thunderstorms. But we could get a few more trying to pop up late in the day, Thursday, and then into Friday morning. As we go into Friday afternoon, most likely some severe thunderstorms out across central Kansas. So we'll keep our eyes on that, as that will be our next chance, at least to get severe thunderstorms around the region. 66 for us tomorrow, 72 on Wednesday, 68 Thursday, 75 scattered thunderstorms Friday into Saturday, and then again by next Monday. But temperatures, besides tonight, overall look pretty good.
That is some good news. Once we get past tonight.
Yes.
Thanks, Jack. Hey, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. You can get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Here's a look at our tower camera, sponsored by R.E. Smith Construction, as work continues on the KOAM More Power project. You can check it out anytime on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com/power. Coming up, not one but two successes today for Elon Musk. First, though, we honor a local veteran of the Vietnam War. Neil Hudson served in the U.S. Navy from 1968 to 1970. He was stationed aboard a supply ship in the South China Sea. His hometown, Parsons, Kansas. Neil Hudson, a four-state hero.
Doug Hetty.
Topping today's Consumer Watch, billionaire Elon Musk has reached an agreement to acquire Twitter for roughly $44 billion, according to the company. The outspoken Tesla CEO, the world's wealthiest person, has said he wants to buy Twitter because he thinks it's not living up to its potential as a platform for free speech. He says it needs to be transformed as a private company in order to build trust with users. Twitter said it will become a privately held company after the sale is closed. It's a good day for Musk, including for his SpaceX company. The first all-private astronaut crew to fly on the International Space Station has completed its mission. The 4 private citizens representing Houston-based Axiom Space splashed down off the Florida coast after more than 2 weeks in space. Reporter Danya Bacchus has the latest.
The SpaceX Dragon Endeavour capsule splashed down in the Atlantic Ocean near Jacksonville, Florida, just after 1 p.m.
Dragon Endeavour has returned home with the Axiom 1 crew.
Dragon SpaceX, we see splashdown and mains cut.
The picture-perfect landing followed 17 days in space, 240 orbits around Earth, and 6.3 million miles.
My thanks to you, everybody, all the people who have supported us around the world. Just amazing job and amazing mission.
The 4-man team blasted off from Kennedy Space Center April 8th for what was supposed to be an 8-day mission. Bad weather extended the trip to 17 days.
Welcome back to planet Earth. We hope you enjoyed the extra few days in space.
It's the first time a completely private crew has flown to the International Space Station. Former NASA astronaut Michael Lopez Alegria led as mission commander. Others aboard included real estate entrepreneur Larry Connor of Ohio, former Israeli fighter pilot Eitan Stibba, and Canadian businessman Mark Pathy. The men lived among the 7 astronauts already aboard the ISS and spent their days working on more than 24 science and technology experiments. Within an hour of splashing down, the world's newest private astronauts were walking their way back to life on Earth. Danya Bacchus, CBS News.
The company's contracted to fly 3 more Axiom astronaut missions to the ISS over the next 2 years. The undoing of the federal mask mandate was abrupt and unexpected, catching the airline industry and flyers off guard. For those who may not want to fly without their fellow passengers masked up, some airlines say they're offering refunds or credits to accommodate some customers. United, American, and Delta all say they don't have an official policy, but to call the customer service line for help on a case-by-case basis. The group that organized a union at an Amazon warehouse in New York City has set its sights on Staten Island. Hundreds of Amazon employees at a Staten Island sorting facility held a rally in support of the union. Amazon has filed an appeal with the National Labor Relations Board, accusing the agency of unfairly and inappropriately facilitating the union's win. And about half of Americans say they'll skip the summer vacation this year. Why? Well, they can't afford it. A new bank rate survey finds the 2 biggest factors for not taking that summer trip are day-to-day bills and paying down debt. Recent surveys also show that only 40% of Americans would be able to cover a $1,000 emergency expense. A final check of the forecast up next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, what parents need to know about a mysterious outbreak of hepatitis in children. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to hear more from the principal about the Joplin Summer School program, now filling up with students. Plus, we're going to introduce the new incoming president of Cotty College. And a Missouri man walks free from prison decades after he might have been wrongfully convicted in the murder of his mother. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Hey, one of Dorothy's dresses from The Wizard of Oz could auction off for upwards of $1.2 million. Bonhams is auctioning off this blue and white dress that Judy Garland wore from the scene at the Witch's Castle. This is only the second complete final costume with both blue and white pinafore dress and blouse known to exist. The auction is set for May 24th in Los Angeles. I don't think it's in Kansas anymore. Who knows where it might end up? Could be anywhere in the world, I suppose.
It's true.
The weather's going to get cold tonight. I don't know how many people are going to want to bring in the plants just in case. We'll
just
see.
in case. We're not going to get a freeze, but we are going to get patchy frost across the region in mid-30s for overnight lows. 66 tomorrow. Tomorrow looks pretty good. 72 on Wednesday. Thunderstorm chances sneak back in Thursday, Friday into the beginning of the weekend. Then again early next week.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.